Okay, folks, welcome back. Last week's episode, we finished the first realm of the game, and we discovered the Amulet of Dreams that the game is titled after, of course, and we were able to insert that token into it that opened up this funky portal into the next realm. So the neat thing about this is that it treats the entranceway into the realm exactly the same way as if you were just going into another room. So if you see we scroll over, it turns to the arrow indicating, again, just like any other room, we can pass into it. So if we click on the portal, look at that. We just passed into the next realm. And we can also, just like we're going back a room, just like that. It's just a total seamless experience. We can go back and forth between the realms, no problem. And I'll even show you here now on the map again. In the last video, I went over how the map works and said I'm not really going to spend any more time on it, but just because we discovered a new realm, I just wanted to point out that now the new realm is also located here, and you can actually use the map to quick travel between all of the different screens that you visited, regardless of whether you're even traveling within the same realm or from one realm to another. It's really, really convenient that way. But I'm going to ignore the map from here on out and continue to progress through the screens linearly so that it's less confusing for the viewer to, maybe trying to keep track of where I'm zipping around all over the place. Anyway, I know this game well enough that it's not really going to save me that much time anyway. So anyway, here we are. We find ourselves now in this new realm. As you can see, it's a little bit different than the last realm we were in. So let's do a couple things here. The first thing we can do here is zoom in on this gold statue up here. And she's holding a lens in her hand, so we can grab the lens. And when we do that, her hand drops down. So we can actually use the plate and put that in her hand. We're not done, though. With that, we're going to come back to that much later. But for right now, we're done with it for the time being. Also, over in this little area here, we can zoom in, and you can see it's sort of this grid of bricks with some colored ones, and here we can place the yellow brick that we have in the missing spot there. And now it turns into a little sort of a mini puzzle. The idea is that we've got to get all of the colored bricks all lined up in a row like this, and all in that order, right? The rainbow order. And we do that by clicking the arrows on the sides, which shifts the entire row in that direction. So the quick and easy way to do that is this red one here first. We'll click to the right twice and then up one. Then the yellow brick, we'll click that up twice and then over to the right one. Then this row here, we can click down twice and then move each of them over one. Then the blue one here will move up one and then left one. And just like that, we've solved the puzzle. And it opens up to reveal something else we can pick up here, the wind rose. Okay, move up to the next screen. Oh, and who in the world is this? Who indeed? Let's talk to this guy.
Welcome to the world of magic. You've come. Hurry, we are in great danger. He managed to stop me. Free me, and I will explain what's going on. We've got to hurry.
And he must be referring to Ashton Thorne. Okay, so this funny little guy seems to need our help. So, first thing we're going to do here is this knapsack here. If we zoom in on that, there's like a paintbrush sticking out, so we can actually grab that right away if we want to. We can actually kind of slide it out. But then there's actually something else inside the knapsack that we can't get to, but we can use that wind rose compass sort of thing that we just got in the last screen and place it into that slot there, and that opens up the flap. So now we can get the second item, the magnet. We can look over here, and we can pick up this pendant here. Okay, and we're not totally done there, but we'll come back again. And over here is the beehive that we can zoom in on. Here, this is what we can use our incense for. The smoke from the incense makes the insects go away. Incense and insects. Gotta enunciate better. Anyway, now that the bees are all gone, now we can click on the hive to move it out of the way, and we can pick up this cauldron here. And now that that's all taken care of, now we can actually progress further into the world, into the next screen. Okay, now if we zoom in over here, look at this. There's someone being imprisoned in a cage here. Let's talk to this guy.
Greetings, human. I'm the Master of Seasons, Queen Alison's loyal servant. I was in charge of helping every season begin on time back in our world. Summer followed spring, winter followed fall, then Ashton conquered our world, and is trying to destroy all of the order in it. Help me get out of this trap. Restore the statues of the fairies of seasons.
Okie doke. So that's basically what this entire realm is all about. And you can see up top here, there's these 4 statues, and they're all themed around the seasons. And just to kind of cut to the chase, in order to progress to the next realm, we're going to have to satisfy some condition that each of these 4 statues requires. So they're all sort of missing something, and we're going to have to replace the missing item. And you can see here on this last one here, actually has an item on it that we can grab right away, this fur hat. So make sure not to overlook that, because that's actually important. Okay, let's progress over this way. There's a bunch of stuff that we can do on the screen, but for now, the only thing that we're going to bother with is this stand here. If we zoom in, there's a blank piece of paper that's nailed to the board, so we can actually grab that and see it says oiled paper, so it's all stained with oil. We'll have to keep that in mind for later. Okay, we're done on that for now. Let's progress further into this spooky looking pathway. Oh, but comes out into, as the screen said, a cozy little gazebo. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, a couple things to do here. First, this fountain over here we can zoom in on, and we can use the cauldron on the fountain to fill it up with water. Okay, get off of here. The second thing we can do is, if we zoom in on this swinging bench here, we can see a couple things here. There's a bowl of a liquid here. It looks like it might actually be bleach, because it shows here there's like a blue scarf that's kind of draped into the liquid, but then appears to have changed color to a white. We're going to have to also remember that for later on in the game, but for right now, the only thing we're interested in is this beetle head. So we're going to pick that up. All right, let's get out of here, move back a screen, and move back again, and move back again. Is there anything we can do here while we're here? I can't remember. I don't think so. No. Okay. Let's move back one more. While we're here, before we go any further, because we are actually going to have to go back to the first realm. That's kind of a running theme with the game, is that when you move on to the next realm, you're going to have to do the majority of your work within that realm, obviously, but you will often have to move back to the previous realm as well to do some stuff you couldn't do before. So we're about to do that, but just before we do, we'll zoom in on the lamppost here, and that beetle head that we just picked up fits into that slot right there, and that opens up, and there's a couple items that we can pick up inside the lamp now that it's open, and also the colors that have changed here is a clue for a puzzle later on as well, so remember the order of those colors. For now, we can pick up these items here. Bronze beetle, and the second item is a gear wheel. Okay, let's move back again, another screen, and again another screen, and in fact, let's go back one more again, back to the very beginning of the game, the first screen that we started on. We can zoom in on the mailbox, and you'll remember there's where that pendant was, but we couldn't do anything with it. Well, it's because it was missing that middle piece there. You'll remember there was also a letter in from that goblin character that we encountered later. Apparently he was the one that wrote that letter, and he's the one who indicated that there was a third piece there in the middle missing. Well, that is what we use this for. We add the pendant to the chain to complete the medallion, and now we can pick the whole medallion up. Okay, now we're done with that. Back into the house, and now let's move back out into the backyard here and zoom in on the rocking chair. This is where we originally found the yellow brick, but you can see that we can still zoom in on this area. So what we're going to do is use the magnet on these pins in the pigeon cushion, and we can pull ourselves some needles. Move even further back into the dock area here, and if we zoom in on this inflatable raft, or I don't know if it's a mattress, it looks like a raft, I guess, but we can use those newly acquired needles on that and pop it to get to the back here and pick up this other lens, the large lens. All right, go back, go back, go back upstairs, back into the portal, into the second realm, back forward again, and now what we can do is take our medallion and give it to this goblin dude. And as reward for freeing him, I'm not sure why the medallion somehow magically frees him from his shackles, but okay. He's giving us a knight, a chess piece knight. So we can pick that up, Black Knight. All right. And The neat thing about that is now he gets added to our inventory, and we can actually use the Goblin multiple times throughout the rest of the game from here on out to reach areas that we wouldn't be able to otherwise access on our own, and he can actually help us retrieve some items that would be out of our reach. Okay, before we move forward, we'll zoom in on this area that we had ignored previously. This is where we're going to use our bronze beetle into that slot. And now this is where that puzzle comes into play from before, how you'll remember when we opened the lamppost. The beetles turned color into a specific pattern. So that's the pattern that we're going to have to recreate. And we do that simply by cycling through all of the colors one by one, just by clicking on them. So if we click on this blue one here, that turns into red. Okay, well, the first one that we wanted was red, so that works already. Click on the second one. Purple, no good. Click again. Green, one more time. Yellow, and no, I think one more time, I think we want it to be blue, I think is what the pattern was. Then we'll click on the purple, green, yep, and then we'll click on the green, and it makes it yellow, yeah, and then the last one we want to be purple. So click, no, one more time, and then I think one last time, and there we go. All right, so that opens it up, and now here is another one of these hidden object puzzles. Instead of just looking for a list, we've got to actually use the items that we're finding within the scene. So the first things that we can pick up are this wrench here and this big spoon over here. Then what we're going to do here is pick up the watering can, but it's one of those ones where it doesn't get added to your inventory. You got to use it immediately, so we can use it on this flower here. And this does a couple things. The first thing, by watering the flower, means that we can now pick it up. And the second thing it means is that because now this watering can has been emptied, it is revealed that there was actually a number on the watering can all along, 482. And we want to know what that is because we can zoom in on this lantern here, and there's a 3-digit code that is required to open it. So again, if we just click on each of these digits one at a time to gradually cycle through all of the numbers, we can recreate the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the middle one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the last one, 1, 2. Opens it up, and now we can retrieve the candle from the inside. Okay, we're going to use the candle on this spot right here, and then it's going to heat up this sort of a blade that is sitting there, but we can't pick the blade up just yet because it is too hot for us. So to cool it down, we're going to have to do a few things. First, we use the rose on this box right there. You'll see this sort of a rose-shaped impression on the box, so we put the rose there, and that opens up the box and takes out a cup, but the cup has some damage on the side there. You can see there's a big old hole in it. So what we can do is use the spoon, and there's some sap on this tree stump here in the background, so we use the spoon on that, and then use the spoon again on that, and that uses the sap to fill up the hole, so now we can collect the cup. Now we will use the wrench on this, looks like a push mower here, and that will undo a piece of it that we can now collect and use to see the metal shaft here. We can select that, and if we click on this barrel here, okay, and then use the intact glass and click on the barrel again. So now what's going to happen is by clicking on this, the following sequence occurs kind of all automatically. See, all the apples from the basket above fell out, and we use the gear wheel to grind them all up into apple juice that fell out into the cup below. So now we can pick up the apple juice, and then we can use the juice on the blade to cool it down. Now we can actually pick up the blade, add it to our inventory, pick up that blade and add it to this wood plane here that's there. Pick up the jack plane and use it on this piece of wood here. Okay. And now we can use the handle on, you remember this basket was previously filled with all the apples, but now that it's been filled out, we can see there's a hammerhead there. So if we add the handle to it, now we've got the hammer. We use the hammer on the coconut, and inside the coconut is a cannonball. And if we use the cannonball on the cannon, it blows up that castle on the table, and behind it is a white rook. Chess piece again. Second chess piece. Alright, so we've got the white rook. Alright, so we've been kicked out of there. We've done everything that we can do there. Let's move forward. Move over this away. What we can do now is right here on this telescope here, we can zoom in on that. You see both the lenses here are missing, so we can replace that lens and the other lens. And what the telescope actually showed us there was a solution to a chess problem. We actually don't need to memorize what that solution is. The point is that now we know what the solution was. So now if we move into here and zoom in on the chessboard, now it's because it's not enough that we have the chess pieces. We would have need to have known where on the board to place those pieces. And the telescope now with the intact lenses apparently showed us where it is. So if we click our black knight and click on the board, it goes where it's supposed to go, and we put the white rook. Again, just doesn't matter where, just anywhere, it automatically goes to where it is. And it opened up this cache, so we can now pick up inside these golden seeds. All right. Let's see here. One other thing that we needed to do that I forgot to do while we were back in the last realm. So let's go back, and back one more. I forgot to do this. We got to zoom in on the fireplace here and use our cauldron of water and put that in the fireplace, and that will heat it up. And now that it's boiling, we should be able to pick it back up again there. Boiling cauldron. Okay. Keep moving forward, back to the screen we were just on. There we go. Now that we're back here, we zoom in on this ice structure here and use our boiling water on that to melt the ice. And now we can grab the berries inside. Okay. Move back into the screen. Now we can zoom in down here. There's a magnifying glass and a mortar and pestle. So we can do a couple things here. First, we can pick up this Sagittarius horoscope piece, whatever that's all about. And we can take the berries that we just got and put it into the mortar and pestle here, which turns it into sort of like a red paint. And we can now take our paintbrush and dip it into there. So now the brush has turned a bright red. All right, let's get out of here. Back a screen. Now that we're back here, we can actually go over to the right side of the screen where there's this gate, but it's blocking the way, and it looks like it's being locked by this sort of mechanical heart. So what we can do is take our paintbrush with the paint now on it and paint the heart red. And now that we've done that, it unlocks and opens for us, and we can now have access to a new screen. Okay. Lots to do on the screen, but for now there's just the one thing. You'll see up here there's like a toucan bird, and it's frozen solid. So we're going to put that fur hat on him that we picked up off of the statue in the previous screen. Now the toucan bird is all happy, so we can actually pick up and collect the toucan. Adds to our inventory, and underneath them in the nest was a fresh flower, so we can pick that up as well. We're going to ignore everything else on the screen for now and move on to the next one here. Okay, first thing we can do here is if we zoom in on here, it looks like it was like a bonfire fire pit, but it's all frozen over, and there's this frozen blue flower here. So what we can do is we can take that oiled paper and put it on the remnants of the bonfire, and then use our lighter and use it on the oiled paper. The lighter also is one of those very few items in the entire game that you can actually use more than once. So this is the second time we've used it, so now it's been removed from our inventory, is used up. Anyway, all that did was melt the blue flower, so now we can pick up the blue flower and add that to our inventory. Okay. We can zoom in on this big thing. I don't even really know what to say what it is. Sort of an ancient artifact of some kind. There's a couple things that we can do here, but for now all we're doing is picking up this ribbon. Okay, we'll get off the screen, and if we go over here, we can pick up this damaged razor blade, and then way over there there's an item here that we can collect, but it's too far away. This is the game's first instance in which we are able to make use of our goblin friend over here. I don't think that anywhere in the game the goblin is ever actually named. He might be named maybe in your notes or something if you want to go back and read that stuff, but the idea is that if you simply click on the goblin and then click him where you want to go, he goes over and retrieves the piece for you. So now we can click that and pick up this ice mold. Okay. Not bad. All right, we'll come back out this way and continue to come up this way. Move back into this screen, and we'll move back into this screen here, and we're going to do one more time, zoom in on the fountain. This time we don't have the cauldron anymore, but we've got that ice mold we just acquired, so we can use that on the fountain and fill it up with water. All right. Now, move back here. We'll zoom in on the screen here with the magnifying glass and mortar and pestle. That's not used for anything anymore. It's all filled with paint anyway. But we can take that fresh flower, put it under the magnifying glass, and that dries it out. So now we can pick up this dried up pollen. Okay. We'll move back a screen and move back another screen. Here, we'll zoom in again on this sort of sheaf of wheat here, and the seeds, the golden seeds that we collected in the chessboard that we opened up, we will add that to the sheaf. And now we can pick it up. Okay, we'll move back one more screen, and another one, and one more. Go back into the backyard. I think this is the last time we're going to be back in this area here. This is one section that we've always overlooked, was this little spot right here. If we zoom in on here, there's a vise. And if we put the damaged razor in the vise, that straightens it out for us. So it fixes it for us, and now we can actually use it for something. All right, go back up the stairs, back through the portal, forward a screen, back over here to the right. Now we can actually start getting some more stuff done on this screen. First, I'm going to zoom in on this ice cavern over here. We'll put the ice mold with the water in it, and that freezes it into this cool icy snowflake. All right, pick that up. Now here, zoom in on the basket of the apples. First, we can pick up the apples. Now we can use our repaired razor on the basket itself to cut off a couple of twigs off of the basket. All right. Third thing, if we zoom in on this flower with the butterfly on it, if we take our dried pollen and offer it to the butterfly, that seem to enjoy it, and so now it's done with that flower and it is flying away. So now that leaves us able to collect the red flower. All right, now we'll go forward over to this screen one more time, and off here in the background we can zoom in on this area here. It looks like there was a damaged nest, so now we can use those twigs that we got on there to repair the nest, and now we can put our toucan bird in the nest. And as gratitude, he lays for us this emerald egg. Not bad. Okay, we're almost done here, folks. Go back a screen, over here this way, over back in here. And the last area of this screen that we haven't zoomed in yet is on the table here. There's these 6 wreaths all made with different flowers, but there's a couple missing. So we can add to it the flowers that we have collected. The red flower we can add, and then the blue flower we can add. Now this prompts a new puzzle. All that we have to do here is get all 6 of these wreaths to have flowers of the same colors, and it doesn't matter which. You can make any wreath, any color flowers that you want. They just all have to be the same. So the way that this is done is you'll see between each of these wreaths there are these red arrows indicating that the flowers closest to them will be swapped. And see, this wreath right here in the middle acts as sort of the hub for the other 5. So if you want to trade a flower, say from this wreath over to this wreath, it's got to go to this middle one first and then back up. So I'll give you an example here. By clicking that, it swaps those 2 flowers, and then I click it again and it just swaps it again. They each also have a rotate button in the middle, so that will rotate the flowers clockwise. So this way you can line up the ones that you want. So why don't we make this wreath these light pink purplish flowers? So what we could do is we'll rotate the wreaths and that have the ones that we're looking for and move them over to the middle, and then one by one transfer them over like this. Okay, now let's make this one the red flowers. So here we can do that, and then here, now you can see they're both red, so if we swap them, it's just going to be swapping a red for a red. So again, remember, you got to rotate the wreath until you get a free space here. Okay, then over here we'll do like this. There we go. All right, why don't we make this top one here the darker purple one? So we'll take the flowers from the wreaths that have that and rotate thusly. Okay, this one's already got majority white flowers, so we'll just finish it off with the other whites, and we will do so like this and like this and this and this. And then we'll make this one blue and this one yellow, because again, that's what the majority of the colors already are. So we just swap those ones out and then swap these ones out. And there you go. And as a reward for that, we were given a spring wreath. And now we have all 4 of the items that we need for those statues. So if we go back to the screen back here, we zoom in on this statue, we give it the icy snowflake. Okay. Zoom in on the second statue here, and we give it the emerald egg right there. Alright. Third statue. This one we give it the spring wreath that we just got. Goes on its head there. Very pretty. Okay. And then the final one we give the sheaf. Okay. And by doing so, we have brought down the barriers that were holding this Gandalf-looking guy in here. And we can talk to him.
I will forever be grateful to you, O noble
I guess really it's more
human.
Radagast the Brown,
I
but,
was trapped
you know.
in Ashton Thorne's dungeon, but it couldn't stop you. You have passed this test. You are a worthy hero. Please, take this token and go save the other parts of our world. Find my brother the Crystal Dragon. He will help you fight Ashton. I'm afraid you will find him in big trouble as well, thanks to that villain.
All right. So, again, not the greatest voice acting in the entire world, but you have to admit it is a hell of an improvement over the guy who was doing Ashton Thorne. I'm sorry to keep shitting on that guy, but that was just inexcusably bad. Anyway, that's another realm down. So we click on continue and we get ourselves a new token, dungeon token. So we click OK, and that automatically brings up, again, the Amulet of Dreams. Ready to do this again? We click our token, add it to the amulet, and that will open for us a new portal into the next realm. And we will be tackling that on next week's episode. Stay tuned till then.